What if you could pull stubborn fat out of your liver using nothing more than a few simple drinks you make right in your own kitchen? And what if some of those drinks had real science behind them, proof that they actually showed up on a liver scan? I've written a book on liver health, and I've helped tens of thousands of people get healthy. And reducing fat in the liver is often the very first thing that needs to happen before stubborn body fat will move. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 3 most powerful drink combos for a fatty liver, the science behind why they work, and how to make each one at home, including the upgrades that make them even more effective. So stick around for the last one because it works on the same fat burning hormone as Ozempic does, except it costs about $1 a day and goes a step further by pulling fat straight out of your liver. Now, this first drink is small enough to knock back in one shot, but don't let the size fool you. It's one of the most powerful things on this list. It's built around a compound that healers in India have been using as medicine for over 4,000 years, often for liver and for digestive problems. They had no idea why it worked, they just knew that it did. The compound is curcumin, the active ingredient in turmeric, which is the bright yellow-orange spice that you've probably cooked with 100 times. And today, we've got the science to back it up. In one clinical trial, people with fatty liver took curcumin, turmeric, every day, and researchers scanned their livers before and after. The fat in the liver improved by almost 79% compared to about 28% in the group that did not take the nutrient. There's a catch. On its own, your body can barely absorb curcumin. You could swallow a whole spoonful of that orange turmeric and most of it would pass right through you without ever reaching your liver. And then a lot of people will tell you to fix this by adding black pepper. And black pepper does help. It can bump absorption 10 to 20 times more, but it does it by causing irritation like sandpaper on your digestive tract, your stomach, your digestive system. It scrapes and irritates a little so more of the turmeric and the curcumin can get absorbed. So I don't want to irritate my gut any further. I kept researching even more. Emulsified turmeric blows that away. Emulsified just means that the curcumin is wrapped in a tiny coating of fat that carries it straight into your bloodstream, and it gets absorbed up to 57 times better than regular powdered turmeric on its own with none of the stomach irritation. Close to 3 times more than what the black pepper trick gives you, without any of the stomach irritation. So you can take way less and absorb way more. You'll see it sold as a liquid form of turmeric or as an emulsified turmeric at your health store or online. That's the form you want for this shot. The second ingredient in this drink has its own research on fatty liver, and it's another one you already know. Ginger. In a 12-week trial on fatty liver patients, it calmed their liver inflammation and eased the insulin problem that signals the liver to store fat instead of burning it. And then finally, a fresh squeeze of lemon rounds it out. The vitamin C in lemon helps recharge glutathione, which is your liver's master toxin scrubber. And then it cuts through that strong earthy taste so that the whole shot goes down a little easier. Now, making this drink takes about 2 minutes. You can start this serving with liquid turmeric. I just do it in a capsule form, or you can just follow whatever maybe the liquid bottle says per serving. You can add in 1 piece of fresh ginger root peeled and then squeeze in the juice of a half a lemon, which comes out to be about 1.5 tablespoons. Pour in 2 to 3 ounces of water if you're making the shot, and then blend it all together and drink it down. Now, if you can't get liquid turmeric, you can use a teaspoon of powdered turmeric, blend it with a teaspoon of coconut oil if you can. That'll help get more absorbed. I actually use a capsuled turmeric. It's an omega turmeric blend. And then I have the lemon water, and then you could just eat a little bit of ginger, or you could use ginger powder if you wanted to as well. Just some alternatives of how you can put these 3 ingredients together in the morning. I recommend taking them in the morning with breakfast or right after eating. Taking it completely on an empty stomach could add to a little bit of queasiness, but 1 shot a day is all you need. But the key word here is daily. In the studies, the people who actually saw the fat leave their liver were drinking this consistently for 2 or 3 months. So a daily dose of turmeric, ginger, and lemon. That's the summary of drink number 1. Now, number 2, this next one can actually be your breakfast, and it starts with a tiny seed that does what almost nothing else can. Picture this. A doctor tells you he's got a treatment for your fatty liver, and it works for about half the people who try it. And if it works for you, your liver can test as completely normal in as little as 2 months. You definitely want to know what it was, right? And he'd tell you all it takes is a couple spoonfuls of seeds a day. That's not something hypothetical. In a real study, people with fatty liver added a couple spoonfuls of one specific seed to their day for 8 weeks. And by the end, more than half of them had their fatty liver reversed. So what am I talking about? Chia seeds. What makes chia so powerful for your liver comes down to one thing. They are loaded with omega-3s. Now, most people think of omega-3s as a heart thing. They pop a fish oil pill, never give it a second thought. But the truth is, your liver might actually need them more than ever. That's why I like to combine the omega-3 and the turmeric, like I previously mentioned in drink number 1. And it's because the omega-3s flip on a switch inside your liver cells that tell them to burn off stored fat instead of holding on to it. And chia delivers more of those omega-3s than almost any other food on the planet. But we're not stopping there. Chia works even better when blended into a simple smoothie with a few other ingredients that each hit the liver from a different direction. The first one is ground flaxseed. Flax carries a weapon chia doesn't. It's the single richest source of lignans on Earth. That's a compound that goes after liver fat all on its own. It's also an omega-3 powerhouse, just like chia seeds are. The next one is spinach. Spinach is loaded with carotenoids, plant compounds that build up right inside your liver tissue. And the more of them that collect in there, the less fat your liver holds on to. In addition, you want to add a cup of blueberries. Inside every one of your liver cells are tiny power plants that burn fat for fuel. And in a fatty liver, they start to break down. But blueberries rebuild those power plants. That's how they stop a simple fatty liver from turning into a scarred, dangerous one. And you blend it all together with your favorite form of milk. You could even add your favorite form of nut butter if you wanted to. And it's a very simple, yet one of my favorite smoothies. Now, if you add in almond milk as your choice, that brings in vitamin E. One of the few things that actually is proven to calm an inflamed liver. You want to make sure you get the unsweetened one with no added sugar that would feed any additional liver fat. And if you want to push the power of this drink even further, you can add a small handful of walnuts or a half an avocado. Walnuts flip the same switch in your liver that the diabetes drug metformin does, the one that shuts fat storage off and turns fat burning back on. And as for the avocado, scientists in Japan discovered that it is the best fruit for protecting the liver, thanks to compounds that are found in almost no other food on Earth. Now, to make this drink, pour a cup of the unsweetened almond milk, or your milk of choice if you're choosing a different one, into your blender. Add 2 big handfuls of spinach and blend it down a little bit first. Then add frozen blueberries. Drop in 2 tablespoons of ground chia and 2 tablespoons of ground flax. And then blend that really good until it's nice and smooth. Then you can add in the walnuts and the avocado. If you're adding those to it, toss them at the end, blend them up. And note that you want to make sure that the flax has been ground up before you use it. Otherwise, the whole seed will pass straight through you. It doesn't release the nutrients very well inside the gut. And if you go with the walnuts, buy them fresh and keep them cold because the oils in them turn rancid pretty quickly. And rancid nuts work against your liver instead of for it. Do that, and you can expect less fat in your liver, steady your blood sugar, and a real shot at dropping weight in the process. Okay, now the one that I promised you at the start. The drink that works on the very same hormone as those famous weight loss shots for about $1 a day. Those shots, like Ozempic, cost up to $1,000 a month. They also come with serious side effects. And the moment you stop taking them, the weight comes right back. But the way they work, which is the same way this drink works, it's actually pretty simple. They copy a hormone that your body is already making called GLP-1. GLP-1 is your natural fullness signal. It tells your brain that you're full. It slows your digestion down so you stay satisfied. And it keeps your blood sugar steady so your body stays in fat burning mode. The catch is that your own GLP-1 only lasts about 2 minutes. That's because there's an enzyme in your body called DPP-4 that destroys it almost as fast as you can make it. So shots like Ozempic are built to get around that enzyme. This drink pulls off the same trick naturally, and it does so without the side effects, thanks to a couple special ingredients. The first one is matcha. Matcha is green tea, but it's ground into a fine powder, so you drink the whole leaf instead of just steeping it and then losing out on all the benefits of the actual leaf. That's why it hits so much harder than regular green tea. You're getting everything packed inside the leaf instead of a watered down version of it. Now, when it comes to liver fat, matcha does 2 things at once. It blocks that DPP-4 enzyme, so your natural GLP-1 sticks around longer, and it goes after the fat in your liver directly. In a 12-week study on people with fatty liver, drinking a high-quality matcha pulled the fat in their livers from the fatty range all the way back to normal and dropped their body fat as well. Now, the second ingredient takes it even further, and that's moringa. Moringa is so nutritious that it's known as the miracle tree, and it blocks that same DPP4 enzyme, same one that matcha blocks, but it does it through a completely different pathway. That's why the two are paired together. Hitting that enzyme from two different angles works far better than either one on its own. Just make sure that you get ground moringa leaf rather than the extract, because the heat used to make the extract destroys the compound that makes it work. Now, there's a simple upgrade that makes a bigger difference than most people realize, and that's a squeeze of fresh lemon. Up to 80% of matcha's fat-burning compounds get broken down in your gut before your body can even use them. But researchers at Purdue found that a squeeze of lemon protects those compounds, so you absorb about 5 times more. That turns your matcha from a partial dose into a full one. Finally, if you don't mind the taste, you can add a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. It blunts the blood sugar spike from your next meal and pushes on that same fat-burning hormone, giving you one more lever to pull. Now, making this drink is simple. Simply start with 8 to 12 ounces of hot water. Hot, but not boiling, since boiling water damages the matcha. Then whisk in a half a teaspoon of matcha until it's smooth with no clumps. Stir in a 1/4 teaspoon of ground moringa leaf, squeeze in about a half a teaspoon of fresh lemon juice, and if you're using it, add that teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. That's it. Now, if you want to get the most out of it, skip the sugar, skip the added syrups, and be very careful of your dairy as well. If you're going to use dairy, we want it unsweetened or just organic grass-fed form. The sugar and the syrups undo the blood sugar benefit. And sometimes the proteins or the extra sugars in the dairy can do the same thing, or actually grab and hold on to matcha's compounds that are beneficial and block them. The exact opposite of what the lemon does. So, no sugars in the drink. Keep those low. Make sure we add the lemon in. Now, if you want a creamy version, use a little of your favorite unsweetened milk, or add a cup of collagen protein. Mine is sweetened with either monk fruit or stevia. And then that gives you that dairy kind of base, that creaminess you're looking for, without sabotaging any of the benefits. When it comes to the matcha, make sure that you buy a quality high grade and make sure that it is organic. It should be a bright green color. Most grocery store matcha is very dull and faded. It's lost a lot of its power. But if you like to skip the guesswork at the store, I actually packed both the matcha and the moringa into one supplement, dosed exactly the way that you want to take it. I'll leave a link to that below in the description for those that are interested. Finally, there's one trick that multiplies everything that this drink is doing for your liver. In one study, women who had matcha and then took a brisk walk burned 35% more fat during that walk than women who walked without it. So once that matcha is working in your system, a short 10 to 15 minute walk after you eat pulls a second lever on the same fat burning. And walking after a meal does one more thing. It keeps your blood sugar down for the rest of the day. Now, as for the timing of the drink itself, aim for 30 minutes or up to 2 hours before a meal, so that the matcha and the moringa have time to get that fullness hormone firing before you eat. Stick to the morning or early afternoon though, because matcha has about 1/3 of the caffeine of coffee, so there is still some caffeine in there, and you don't want it messing with your sleep. Enjoy that one. Check out the link below if you want to make it easy. Okay, now these 3 drinks give your liver a serious head start, but the truth is, what you eat every day is doing just as much to your liver as anything else you drink, for better or for worse. And the biggest thing holding most people back is the food they think is healthy. That's exactly what I break down in my other video, 5 food hacks to fix your liver and melt belly fat in 14 days. In it, I will show you exactly what to eat, what to cut out, and when to eat it to get your liver burning fat again, including one hack that can start cleaning the toxic fat that is keeping you stuck in as little as 2 weeks. I will include a link to that right here. Click to watch it next, and I'll see you there.